Hello. Hey everyone, if you guys want to learn how to create this look, it is so easy. It's my go-to look for going out when I have no time. Especially, you know those times when you've been procrastinating, like, oh, I'm going out today, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and you're like, okay, let me just take a small nap, let me just fall asleep because you know, I'm gonna be really busy putting on my makeup, and then you fall asleep a little too much and you wake up and you have no time. So this is something that happens very often to me, and this is usually then my go-to look. So in this video, I've also filmed a brow tutorial, which is a comparison of a 90s brow with a full brow. Be sure to watch that one too. So as always, I've done my skincare, and today I used the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Eye Base for my eye cream. And for my face, I used the BIOSSANCE Omega Squalane Moisturizer. And it's been about 15 minutes since I've applied it, so you know, it's actually sunk into the skin, which is something that you should do before applying makeup. As usual, I'm going to start off with Corrector, and actually today I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown Corrector in the shade Dark Beige. I like to then take my finger and just thin out product from here, because sometimes I have some fine lines, and you know, when your corrector or your concealer goes and starts settling in there, it's not the best thing. Moving on to foundation, this is the Tom Ford one. When I usually don't have much time, and since this is like the quicker version of a night out makeup that I do, I usually just go in, but you know, when I have time, that's when I kind of take the brush and I stipple on. And now I'm just going to use this M449 brush from Morphe and just kind of spread that out. My goal here is just to even out the skin tone. So, you know, I don't want to put too much because it's something that I don't have the leisure at that point, you know, because you spend so much time procrastinating on what to do and then you run out of time. So right now I'm just pressing all this into my skin. All I want is just like, you know, an even skin tone. Just going into places that need a little bit of additional coverage. See how that correction just speeds up everything so fast. Otherwise, you know, sometimes if you keep trying to cover your skin with additional foundation over and over, it just starts looking really cakey in those areas. So I think always try to make color correction a part of like your daily routine even, and you'll be pretty surprised on how far you can just go with that. After foundation, I usually quickly go in with some concealer, and I'm just placing this shade especially only in my under eyes, and then I start to blend. I like to keep the concealer under my eyes for a little more longer because it gives additional coverage and it really like smooths out the lines. I'm going to blend out all the others first, and I'm finally going to blend out this bit here. And with the Born This Way in Natural Beige, I like to highlight. All this usually is pretty quick for me. So on my forehead, on like the beginning of my cheek, and I like to bring some here too. And you blend. And to set the under eyes, I have a couple of powders, but today, just for some additional coverage, I'm just going to use this Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Honey. And the trick is, once you've kind of laid down the product, just take, like I like to take my beauty blender, and I like to keep pressing until it sort of disappears and even, you know, sets that area of the eyes really well. If I have time, I go in with sculpting, but today I'm going to pretend like I don't have much time because it's kind of fast. So I'm taking the bronzer. This is the Hoola Benefit bronzer. You can say I've hit pan. But I'm just taking this wherever I want to bronze my skin. With bronzer, I don't mind going in a little more because it actually looks really nice in pictures. So the places I went with it is on the top of my forehead, the sides of my cheeks, and even under my chin, under my jaw for a little bit of sculpting. Now I'm also going to take my Makeup Forever foundation, powder foundation, and I'm just going to lightly dust it over areas where I haven't set yet. So mainly the center of my face and sort of around the chin area. So you can see the skin is pretty flawless. I like it this way, you know, especially when I'm in a hurry and there's not much time. I have to go for something like this. Next up, we're going to jump right into eyes. It's so easy. For starters, I'm actually going to use the same bronzer and I'm going to sweep that across my eyelid and crease, just pretty much all over. If you see, the bronzer sets a nice base, you know, with sort of like a transition shade. And if I usually have time, I love to go in with this Tom Ford shade. It's called Abyssinian and it's this nice reddish brown, and this stays on the entire. I usually use this, you know, if I go traveling and I'm sort of roaming around the city. It's such a foolproof long wear eyeshadow pot. But this is sort of like a go-to makeup, and what I like to use is this Illamasqua pot in the shade Embellish. You know, I really picked this up by chance once. I went into an Illamasqua store and the lady started showing me these pots and I was just like, wow, you're so nice. And I didn't buy it at first. And then I went back in and I was just like, I really want that because this has like the finest, tiniest glitter. It has a nice gold reflect. It's sort of like a cool brown, but you know, as you blend it out, you can see that you can see the reddishness in it, and it has these tiny gold reflects, the tiniest gold glitter, which just makes it so impactful in a way. And what I like to do is I just like to take this on my finger, but right now I just took it on my nail, and I like to just apply that right in the center, and it blends so quickly. I have been using this for years now, I think 3, 4 maybe. Next, I'm just going to take this Midnight Cowboy Urban Decay Heavy Metal glitter liner. And I'm just going to apply this in my inner corners. A little sparkle in the inner corner of the eye looks so good. And next, I'm going to use my MAC Coffee eyeliner. You can even use any eyeshadow that you have, which is like a nice darker brown and which kind of blends really easily. You can use any pencil brush or sort of like a thinner blending brush and just soften up that line. I'm kind of pulling it, like the slightest bit of it up here into the outer V. I'm just gonna go in once more because usually when you blend out you lose the intensity of the line. So you just only go in once more and you can just blend it out once more, but the slightest. With literally whatever is left on the brush, I'm just going to take that just in the outer third of my lower lid because it kind of gives like a little bit of a connection between the two. Otherwise it just looks like there's a floating line, which is completely fine if that's the look that you want to go for. And for the rest of my under eye, I'm once again going to go with the Hoola bronzer, and I'm just sort of applying this to the rest of my under eye. For looks like these, I usually like to go in with a more impactful mascara. So today I'm going to use the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. And my Surratt eyelash curler. I like to pump the lashes about 3-4 times on each angle before it's nice and curled, and then I like to go in with the mascara in a zigzaggy way and then sort of in straight out. For something like this, I like to go with a more monotonous look. So I'm just going to use this Shiso LA blush from Patrick Ta on a dual fibered brush, and I am just going to sweep this. I like to pull this into my shadow a bit. And I even go on the top of my nose. For highlighter, I usually go in with this soft and gentle highlighter from MAC, which is such a classic highlight shade. And I just like to go in a few places here, you know, the usual. At this point, I really like to go in with my beauty blender once more and just blend everything here, especially, you know, because we don't want the blush looking like a huge line. We want it to look as blended as possible. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of my foundation right on these areas. And moving on straight into lip liner, I'm using this Patrick Ta liner in She's Bold. For the cheeks, I'm just going to go in with this cream shade that is from the same Shiso LA blush, and I'm just going to use this on the, like, on the apples of my cheeks. It brings back such a youthful sort of glow, but if you see, I'm not going to go over that little pimple of mine. And for my lips, I'm going to use this Tom Ford lip gloss in the shade 04 Pink Gilt, but only on the center of my lips, you know, like in little sort of brush strokes. It feels like it's gravitating a bit towards the 90s, but I think that's perfectly fine. This is something I'm very comfortable doing when I'm going out and I have sort of no time. This is something I can do within 30 minutes or so. Now I'm going to do brows, and I'm finally going to film a tutorial. So that's going to be actually already out by the time this one comes out. Let's just head on to getting brows done, and I'll jump right back in. Alright, I did my brows. I did it nice and thick today, though I just now filmed a tutorial on how to do a skinny brow and a full brow, and how to change a skinny brow to the full brow. So that's why I have it looking nice and good today. So on a normal day, I would call this look complete. This is pretty good to take you from even day to night if you want, who knows. Don't be afraid to take it to the next step by applying a little bit of highlighter on all these high points of your shoulders, because there's nothing more better than, you know, some light reflecting skin. And finally, to set this all in place is a setting spray, and I love to use this Caudalie Beauty Elixir because it is the finest mist and it is so cooling to the skin. It really refreshes a lot. I'm just gonna cover my jewelry. So this is the finished look, and I think this is something that is really easy for me. It takes 30 minutes tops, or maybe a little more even. If I have time, I usually like to go in with a strip lash, maybe even just a corner lash, because it adds so much drama into the look. Let me know how you liked it, if you enjoyed it, if this video was even helpful a little bit. That's why I want you guys to comment and maybe even subscribe, because it really helps push me. I'll see you next time with another video, and I hope you enjoy everything that I'm putting out. Thank you and stay happy.